gonna make that. Here's a valuable lesson.
It's time for a revolution. It's time for a revolution. Can we get the people of Seattle to say it one time? It's time for a revolution. A reefer revolution.
A reefer revolution!
That's what we need. We need people to get up, stand up, your rights. That's what we need. I'm an individual. I specialize. I publicly call myself the NJweedman.com. That was a publicity stunt that actually was pretty successful. At one point, I tried to change my name because I knew I got in the papers all the time, and I wanted the newspapers to actually write NJweedman.com constantly. You know, I'm not a rich man, but what it is, I formed the Legalized Marijuana Party. Every year in New Jersey, I run for office under the Legalized Marijuana Party. You know, and I tell people all the time, you can be an individual. There's going to be 100,000 people here. Imagine if 100,000 people decided to really get up and stand up for their rights. You know? I don't belong to any big organizations, just the Legalized Marijuana Party. Do a Google search. NJweedman.com.
Funny reefer man. Have you ever met that funny reefer man?
Now, calling myself NJweedman.com, I've run into a lot of problems. I've been jailed. I made commercials. Out here, I'm envious of what's allowed to go on out here in Seattle. In New Jersey, I live in a police state. A couple times I've tried to have big events like this, we got busted. I got busted several times just for publicly speaking. And you guys can have a couple 100,000 people here, quasi not smoking. But I gotta tell you something, I made it in two. I made 3 commercials basically just advocating for the legalization of marijuana. Nothing was illegal about them. I had a shirt on similar to this that said, I love my country, but I fear my government. And I made 3 commercials telling the truth about marijuana. I gave the copies of the commercials to several youth, signed a contract with Comcast to air the commercials. It was going to air on a Saturday during a CNN special presentation on 9/11, to be honest with you. And anyway, the newspapers wrote about it. The state of New Jersey put pressure on Comcast to yank.
I'm here before one of the world's greatest symbols of freedom to let you know the liberty this flag represents is in grave danger. As with alcohol prohibition in the 1920s, the drug war is destroying our free society. Even our First Amendment freedoms of speech and religion have been weakened. Now, saying legalized marijuana in public can result in the government taking away your child. This has happened to me. It's time we return freedom to America by ending the war on drugs. It's really a war on individual liberties, and that's just un-American.
Wrote that the Weedman ads that we wrote about yesterday. And then that Monday, I was arrested. I couldn't believe it. I was arrested. I was charged with advocating, and I became a political prisoner of our pot wars. I spent 5 months. I made 3 commercials out of marijuana. You can still see the commercials online. You just do a Google search, NJ Weedman and censorship, and you'll find my commercials. I spent 5 months in jail. But interesting thing was, he said that I was advocating criminal activity, and they were prosecuting me. But what I did from jail, I filed a writ of habeas corpus. Some people may recently heard of the writ of habeas corpus because George Bush has eliminated it. So-called right now is for enemy combatants, but we've got the trickle-down effect. Eventually it's going to include all of us. But after the state of New Jersey put me in jail for making commercials, I filed a writ of habeas corpus in federal court, alleging to a federal judge that the state had put me in prison in violation of my right to free speech. And at first the judge really didn't believe it. It's very rare anyway that a federal judge will accept a writ of habeas corpus from an imprisoned state prisoner. But in this case, he thought my allegations were so outrageous. I was out alleging that I was in prison because I made pro-pot commercials and attempted to put them on TV. So the judge thought, he decided to have an evidentiary hearing, and sure enough, the state came to the federal district court judge, before Judge Arenas, and they actually argued that I should remain in jail, and the state had planned on prosecuting me for, I could have gotten up to 10 years in prison. the federal judge decided that this was an absolute violation of the right to free speech and interceded, which normally never happens. A federal judge does not normally intercede in state action. And eventually I was freed. Did get to run my commercials. Several months later, I ran for office. I ran for governor of New Jersey. Out of 13 candidates, I came in 5th. You know, it was the Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, and then the Weed Man.
I'm happy radio.
You know,
Mic's off. Mic's off.
Mic's off.
Hello?
There you go. You're on.
Okay. I've done a lot of court cases on my own. You know, I've only got a few minutes to talk about it, but I've fought the state of New Jersey with their DNA laws. I'm one of these jailhouse lawyers who's not in jail. I have a bunch of ideas. I wish I knew what a lawyer was when I was a kid. You know, after I got old enough to realize what a lawyer was, I needed one. You know, I tell people all the time, man, it's time for a revolution, a reefer revolution. You know, I think the cannabis consuming communities, I'm one, I call myself a peaceful, proud, patriotic pothead. You know, I don't hide the fact. I haven't hidden the fact that I smoked marijuana since I was a kid. You know, I believe marijuana has its medicinal reasons. I believe marijuana can be used and should be used sacramentally. I never hear that argument publicly. But the First Amendment should apply to religious users of marijuana as well. You know, our federal government through the 1993 Freedom of Religion and Restoration Act should protect us. I'm getting done. I want to invite everyone between 3 and 3:15 symposium. I'll be speaking there where I can go into more details about issues. In the meantime, happy 420, Seattle.
Look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's the New Jersey Weedman, pumping everything, doing his thing. Ain't nobody fooling this man, and it's never gonna change. He too clever for him, man. Look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's the New Jersey Weedman, pumping everything, doing his thing. Ain't nobody fooling this man. He too clever for him, man, and it's never gonna change. New Jersey Weedman, superhero to his ganja smokers, fighting for the rights of cipher and told him, indicted and choked him. Every time he battled and spoke him, politicians getting at him with them government posters. Judges were jokers, knew the laws refused to uphold him. Only made the weed man stronger. He grew with exposure, refusing.